What's up, Star Wars fans? This is Darth Watson. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about future Star Wars movies. I just want to give you guys an update on future Star Wars movies, which are the Rey Star Wars movie, the Dave Filoni's Mandalorian crossover Star Wars movie, which I think will be called Heir to the Empire, and then the James Mangold Star Wars movie that takes place 25,000 years before the events of Episode 1, telling the story of the first Jedi and how the Jedi all started, including like spirituality, like Force Ghosts. We'll probably learn more about the wills that like some old ideas that George Lucas had for the sequel trilogy, where he originally planned his sequel trilogy, George Lucas's version of the sequel trilogy, to be about the wills. I think the wills are going to be heavily explored in the James Mangold Star Wars movie. But the bad news is that there's been a lot of Star Wars projects that have been canceled, scrapped, like Rogue Squadron and that Star Wars trilogy that takes place during the High Republic that was going to come out, but that ended up becoming scrapped. But it was originally supposed to take place a couple hundred years before the events of Episode 1, which I think a lot of those ideas that they had for the Star Wars trilogy that takes place during the High Republic, I think a lot of those ideas are going towards The Acolyte, which is coming out in 2024. And I probably will be watching The Acolyte, and I will definitely be doing reviews on The Acolyte, especially now that we're finally getting something that takes place before the events of Episode 1, during the time of the Jedi. And it's mainly going to be focused on the Sith, the dark side of the Force. So, but Rogue Squadron has been canceled. I mean, there's been some Star Wars films up and then canceled. Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie might be canceled. And Taika, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I can't pronounce his last name very well. But Taika's Star Wars film probably will be canceled. He's talked on and on about developing his Star Wars movie, but I have doubts it'll ever get made. I think the main Star Wars movies that could get made, I don't think, now that they're almost finished with the entire script for the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy Star Wars movie, The New Jedi Order, I doubt it's going to become scrap. I think it's going to turn into I think that Star Wars movie might see the light of day. There's a more likely chance that the New Jedi Order Star Wars movie will see the light of day, and it will come out in 2026, and it'll take place 15 years after the events of the Rise of Skywalker, telling the story of Rey and how she's growing a new generation of Jedi. And the Mandalorian crossover Star Wars movie seems highly unlikely to be scrapped, because a lot of people seem to love the Mandoverse, and the Mandalorian broke the internet back in 2019 when we got introduced to Grogu, which was Baby Yoda, which a lot of people called him Baby Yoda before his name was revealed, Grogu, and that ended up breaking the internet. And with the Mandalorian being as popular as it is within the Mandoverse, if they were to do a Mandalorian crossover Star Wars movie that ties into not only the Mandalorian, but Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Book of Boba Fett all combined, then the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie is highly unlikely to get scrapped. And I don't think the James Mangold Star Wars movie idea is going to get scrapped either, because Kathleen Kennedy likes James Mangold idea, where James Mangold wants to go and explore about the first Jedi 25,000 years before the events of Episode 1, telling the story of the first Jedi, exploring the origins of the Force, what are the wills of the Force. I think that's something that's going to play out in James Mangold's Star Wars movie. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will catch you all later in another video.